You're just trying to make my job harder! 1. Well, it's time. For weeks I've been devouring TFTS stories like they're candy, some really addictive, but kinda gross candy. And now, I humbly offer up a story of my own to add to the collection. Background: I'm not in tech support. I'm simply mildly tech literate, can troubleshoot well, and have a detrimental desire to help people. To keep it as vague as possible, I'm a glorified sales assistant for a large company. I help enter and manage orders for salespeople I'm assigned to and often end up fielding tech-related questions since a lot of our sales folks struggle with the many systems we work out of. This wouldn't be too much of a problem, but anyone who's worked with salespeople closely knows they can be huge divas for literally anything that challenges them. With that in mind, on to the story. Cast: $me, me. $SP, salesperson. $SM-$SP, sales manager. $MM- my manager. $CW, co-worker that handled $SP before me. Story: I started working with $SP several months ago. $me, $SP, $SM, and $MM met, virtually since we're remote, and everything seemed to go well. It was already communicated that I was $SP's new point of contact, and I was briefed by $CW, so this was just a formal introduction. $SP was fine and didn't talk much, so I felt pretty good and assumed he would be fine to work with. Once I started actually working with him, I noticed $SP wasn't completing basic requirements for orders. One particular sticking point was that he wasn't tracking the orders he built on our CRM platform correctly, similar to Salesforce but worse. Whenever an order is built, an entry on the CRM platform has to be created and it has to include an order confirmation sent automatically via email to $SP. This process has been in place for at least a couple of years. $SP has been in his role for over 5 years. It's our second or third meeting, and $MM and $SM were on the call as well. Everything seemed good, and he had new orders coming in. He asked how he should submit orders to me even though we'd covered this in depth via email, and I found out later $CW walked him through the process multiple times. I re-emphasized for him, in front of $SM and $MM, what he needed to do and even got backup from $MM. He seemed polite, said okay and that he'd work on it. Meeting ended. I got up from my laptop, relieved that I was finally done for the day, until the anxiety-inducing ring of an incoming Teams call set me back on edge. It was $SP. Less than 5 minutes after we just ended our meeting. Annoying, but I assumed he just forgot to ask something, so I answer, "This isn't a word-for-word conversation, but it's close enough because we were going in circles. $SP, I wanted to ask you how you want me to submit these orders. I'm working on it now, but I don't understand what you want." Brings up a screen share of the CRM platform. $me, taken aback and wondering why the ever-living, redacted, he didn't just bring this up in the meeting if he didn't understand. "Well, $SP, it looks like you've filled out the fields right, but like I said you need to attach the order confirmation otherwise it can't be processed." $SP, I don't know what that is. $me. Explains, yet again, what the document is and that it's emailed to him. $SP, stares blankly, I don't know what you're talking about. This is also confusing. At this point he became visibly agitated. $me repeats the exact same information and probably clearly agitated myself. $SP quietly pulls up his email and plays dumb. "Oh, you mean this?" $me, yes, that's it. You just need to add that email to the order in the CRM platform. $SP stares silently, I don't know how to do that. $me, okay, well I can help with that. All you need to do is explains how to print a PDF since we can't save OST files. Then upload the file to the CRM platform. Please understand that here is where I made my mistake. I was simply asking too much of him/s and my manager said later he could just copy/paste the email in the notes section. Trust me when I say I don't think it was the method that was the problem. $SP, I don't understand. This is also confusing. $me, okay, I know it's a bit tricky so I can walk you through it. $SP, okay. $me, alright, so first click on file. $SP, stares at me and doesn't move his mouse. What are you asking me to do? $me, repeats myself a bit slower, literally just asking him to click on file in the top left-hand corner. $SP, keeps staring and, ISHT not literally does not move his mouse an inch. This is also complicated, I don't know what you want me to do. $me exhausted and ready to be sniped. If it means getting out of this, look, maybe you should reach out to $SM. I'm trying to help, but she can probably explain it better, and was technically the person responsible for teaching him how to set up an order in the first place. $SP, this is also confusing and I didn't used to have to do this before. $CW handled all of it for me. You're just trying to make my job harder. $Me, oh you piece of, like I said, you should reach out to your manager. $SP, yeah I think I should do that. $SP ends the call abruptly. I was in shock. I couldn't believe this man was either A, so unwilling to learn he couldn't follow simple instructions, or B, hellbent on getting me to somehow do his job for him, willing to bet it was the latter. All I could do was log off for the day. Epilogue, I obviously connected with the next day and relayed the exchange. She was shocked and upset he was so rude and said she'd speak with $SM. assured me it was not my responsibility to teach him nor do his work for him. Despite the reassurances, $SP ended up not having to submit his orders correctly for the sake of us just getting the money on the books. Salespeople are the collective golden child of the company and tend to get what they want if they complain enough. Anyways, I needed to get this out as a form of catharsis because guess what? After months of no new orders, he sent one. Not holding my breath, I opened the CRM platform and then immediately closed it. He had not attached the confirmation smile. All I can think about is how much easier it would be to get Patrick to put his hand on the $@ lid than deal with this. Story 2. Modern Warfare needs 1 terabyte of RAM. Hi all, mandatory LTL, FTP. On mobile, so formatting will be a bit sketchy, and disclaimer, not in tech support but hopefully will be eventually after completing my comp sci degree. Was in a team viewer session with a colleague but 10 brief minutes ago when I discovered to my distaste that his 2 terabytes HDD was filled to the brim, as was his 120 gigabytes SSD. Upon inquiring what was using such immense portions of precious digital real estate, I was met with the standard "I'm not sure, it's always been like that. I just delete stuff when it's too full to function" type response. Enter WinDear to save the day. For those of you unaware, this little app displays the contents of your drives in a graphical layout, with the size usage of each file proportionately scaled to the others. Normally one can expect a large block of medium-sized files, some downloaded videos, a few Steam games, but never in my years have I opened the application to find one giant Ming monstrosity of a block consuming well over half the poor 2 terabytes drive, barely leaving other little files to squeeze in around the edges, clawing desperately for some leftover 1s and 0s to call home. The seasoned among you will already have guessed, but this file was none other than the villain of the piece, the dark and shady page file. Our hero, yours truly, swam through the dark recesses of the system configuration in search of the settings pane that would confirm my hunch, all the while my colleagues' eyes growing wider with understanding and guilt. Eventually I found it. The page file options were set to manual configuration, and that manual configuration was a default size of 1 terabyte, with permission to expand to 1.2. My colleague offered an explanation for his actions. Apparently some 4 years ago he fancied himself a game of Modern Warfare and was displeased to find it kept crashing. Rather than just quit some background applications or buy some more memory, he decided the best solution was to boost his page file size. First a GB, no good. Maybe 2 GB. No dice. Eventually he must have just opted for 1 followed by a random amount of zeros, happening to be an entire TB. Years passed and he didn't notice the change day to day as the page file gradually grew fatter, gorging itself on any scraps of executable it could find. Slowly expanding to occupy 1.2 terabytes of his total 1.8. And that is how he has lived. Without question. For 4 years. A page file size drop and reboot later and he was a happy camper, and I had my first TFTS post. Edit, wow, this blew up overnight, thanks for making it a good first post all. Smile also, I've seen a lot of people ask why I'm doing comp sci for tech support / wanting to go into tech support in the first place. Truth is I oversimplified things, I didn't think it was relevant, but the specifics are, I'm doing a Bachelor of Information Science, with a double major in Computer Science and Information Technology. Because, honestly I don't know specifically what I plan to do after graduating, just that I love IT and want to do something in that field. As for why tech support? After reading this subreddit, it sounds like it should keep me entertained.